Brian Palavi run far here with Zach Miller and Michael Wardian before the 2014 IAU 100k World Championships here in Qatar. How you guys doing?
Very good.
Awesome. Yeah, great to be here.
Zach, this is your first time running in a World Ultra Running World Championship.
Yeah.
Is it exciting?
Yeah, no, it is. Never been here before, so interesting part of the world. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. A lot of good competition.
But you have represented the U.S. at the World Mountain Running Championships.
Yeah, the World Mountain Running Championships and Long Distance Mountain Championships, which are kind of not an official World Championship yet, but international event nonetheless.
So, middle of last year, could you have imagined you'd be representing the U.S. 3 times in world competitions the following year?
No, I was just saying to Matt Flaherty how this is all kind of really strange for me, and basically dreamed of this stuff but never knew I'd actually get to do it. Yeah, when I looked at the year, I saw there were 3 teams. There was the ultra team, the mountain team, and the long distance mountain team, and I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. I don't know if I'll make any of them, but I end up making all 3. So yeah, it's pretty kind of bizarre for me.
Yeah. And Michael, how many times is it that you've been at the World 100k Championships now?
I think every year since 2008. So
quite a few.
Yeah, I guess what, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They didn't have it last 6.
This is your 6th one, so
yeah. And I was like, Zach, I just wanted to make one, man. I was like, just the chance to represent the U.S. is like such an honor, and to get that singlet, like, it makes me all like, just now I just got goosebumps and all like teary-eyed and like kind of like weepy and just kind of excited, you know. It's a treat, and then to get to run with, you know, all the athletes on our team is such a privilege, and it's fun. Like, it's a reunion of sorts with a bunch of the friends I've made over the years, so I'm excited about being here, and I've already started to try to line up some trades for kit from other countries.
So Michael, as you have all this experience at 100k Worlds, do you have any advice for somebody coming in and running it their first time, or somebody who's never run 100k period?
Yeah.
AKA Zach.
I don't know. He doesn't need any advice, dude. I ran against Zach last time for the first time at JFK, and he definitely showed us what he's capable of, and I don't think that there's anything I can impart other than I was here a couple weeks ago, and it was super hot. It's a lot cooler now, so I think a lot of guys might go out at a pace where they it's almost time for prayer, I think, at a pace where they want to do a really good time, and I think it might be more about running for place than time tomorrow, just because I think it's going to be challenging to run the kind of times that we're used to. In the conditions and on the course, it's a little windy, and you know.
You're going into your first 100k. You've never even run a marathon on the road. What is the longest road race you've ever run?
Oh, that maybe a half marathon. Mount Evans Ascent was technically on a road. I think it was about 14, 15 miles. I think that's my longest.
So you've got another, 40 some miles.
Yeah.
What are you most nervous about or excited about for running 100k for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, like Mike was saying, the heat is going to be a factor. Well, not just the heat, the humidity. I think if we had these temperatures and no humidity, it'd actually be, quite good. But with the humidity in there, that's going to be a factor. So that makes me a bit nervous. And I always kind of get a little nervous about how fast are guys going to go? Are they going to jump off the line at 5:45 or something crazy like that? What am I going to do in response to that? But usually, they shoot the gun and that kind of sorts itself out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of good competition, So and I haven't cranked on the road like this too much, So
you've not cranked on the road. You've not done 100k. If somebody does go out really fast, how do you know that that's too fast or within your
Well,
range of possibility.
I think I can kind of gauge off of some other people in the race. I think I can look for guys like Jonas Bud from Sweden. He's supposed to be a pretty smart racer. And then you kind of know the guys that you're looking for that should be able to hold what they're doing, like Steve Way. And those guys, so if there's some guy from like that nobody's ever heard of that shoots off the front, hey, maybe he'll make it, but he may also come back.
Yeah, I mean,
there was a guy from
so
Norway.
just judging stuff like that, I think. And then I think my American teammates like Mike here and Max King, I think maybe keying off of them a little bit should be helpful.
Do you guys foresee any, the team working together early in the race, like purposefully?
I would think so. I think we're all going to be we're all going to be trying to get in the top 10. I think it'd be pretty sweet. I think we all have the talent and ability to be in the top 10. So we're all going to be in that first couple groups running together. And I think that's usually what happens in these type of races. It's really easy running. I mean, we're all capable of running 5:45 pace for a really long time, but that's, I don't think, going to be sustainable. I think it's going to be more between 6 and 7 minute pace, and that's really easy for us to run for a really long time. But it's these races in general, it's really easy until it's not, and then it gets really, really hard, really, really fast. So I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a big group for a really long time, and then it's going to be like popcorn, and people are just going to be exploding off the back, and you're going to look around and you're just going to see people's faces start straining a little bit, and then they're either going to be there or they're not, and then that's when you have to be able to race.
So you've run this a bunch of times. How do you run it? Do you approach it as you're running for your best race, or do you just like hang with a certain pack? How do you sort out that effort?
Well, I've never done worse than top 10, so I want to kind of keep that streak alive. I think it's going to be really hard this year, just because, even amongst our group, we have 6 guys that are going to be in the top 10, and then you have people like Steven, you have people like Jonas, you have Giorgio, you have all the Japanese guys that are always strong, the Russian guys, the Italian guys, so even there's some German guys. So I think it's going to be tough to be in the top 10 this year, and what I like to do is I like to try to keep it as easy as possible, and then be there at the end to try to compete and put myself in a good position. So if I can do that and stay comfortable, I didn't do that as well in the 50K, and so I'm going to try to rectify that.
Zach, it seems in at least Sonoma and Templier, you're quite aggressive and sort of go all out there. Do you think having the team aspect might temper your approach a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because there is the team aspect, and I don't want to ruin it for the team.
Well, the nice thing is we have 6 of us, so we only need to score 3. So and what the Japanese tend to do is they have guys that are like Zach or whoever, and they go out and run as hard as they can, and they have a couple guys that just sit back and run a comfortable pace they know that they can hold. So they're basically like the sweeper. So like we're gonna have 3 guys that finish, so I don't think Zach needs to worry about if something happens. I don't think he should change his race to help the team.
So does that mean like somebody like you plan to be like that person who can?
Yeah, I'm just going to be solid.
So you're not going to try to win it or try.
Well, yeah, like if I feel good, I'm going to try to go. But I think that's something that we can decide on the go. But I don't think anyone should sacrifice their race for the team. I think we're going to have 3 guys that finish for sure.
And finish strong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If 2 guys blow up.
Well, 2 guys, everyone's going to blow up at some point.
You know what I mean? If 2 guys run 7:20, it doesn't matter. Because there's going to be 3 guys under 6:45, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So, you didn't have the race you wanted, but we're still going to come home with gold.
That's the plan?
Hell yeah.
Do you agree with that plan, Zach?
Well, I want to come home with a gold.
Hell yeah, I
goals
mean, that's
for
why
sure.
we're here, man.
Yeah.
We're here to come
Yeah.
home and bring home some hardware. And I think our girls are going to come home with gold too. I mean, I don't see anyone else that compete. I mean, Great Britain's got a good team for the women, but our team is solid. Both of them.
And there's 5 strong women on the women's side.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Great Britain only has 3
2,
women. Which,
yeah.
I mean, it's 3 women total. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
one of them has a bad race.
Exactly.
It's a big risk.
Yeah. And so they have to run a little more conservatively than we do. I mean, we can hammer. I mean, that's the plan.
Yeah, I think there's probably some other very good men's teams out there, from the other countries. But
I mean, just the Italians have the guy who won and finished 3rd last time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they ran fast. So I mean, they had another guy that didn't run as fast, but they still ended up doing really well because you have 2 guys that run 6:30 and faster. That's a hard differential to overcome.
Yeah.
But I think we have the talent to do that too. Yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't.
And on a day like this, or on a course like this, and tomorrow it's going to be still pretty warm and humid, do you just forget about time?
I think that in every World Championships you forget about time, and even in the Olympics. I mean, those guys aren't running 2:03. Those guys are running what, like the Olympic record's like 2:06 or something, like 2:05. It's a lot slower than those guys normally run, and I think you have to run. I think the fastest one was like when Sammy Wanjiro went out, right? And he brought all those other guys with him, but everyone's like, oh, they're too fast, but someone's going to make it in a group,
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you've seen that happen, like the time not worrying, being a consideration, and people like when you did the Olympic trials a couple of years ago, and everybody went out was
Yeah,
it didn't
exactly.
matter. It was a tactical race.
Right.
You found yourself on the front.
I was winning for like 10K. I was like, I had these grandiose plans that I was going to the Olympics, and then like 80 guys passed me in less than 10 seconds. And I was out the back. But I mean, and who cares, right? Like, you come home with a gold medal, no one goes like, did you run 6:19? They don't even care. They don't know. Like, they just say like gold or silver or bronze or whatever position we end up with. That's what's important.
Yeah, I'm not. I feel like in ultras, I feel like I'm never really so concerned about time, except for the fact that my goal is to run as fast as I can. Like I don't usually set out in an ultra saying, oh, my goal is to break this course record, or my goal is to break this American record. Mm-hmm. My goal is to run as fast as I possibly can, like to give it my absolute best. And if that's a course record, then that's a course record. But I don't run looking at splits all day, trying to chase, certain people's times at certain checkpoints on the course.
Can you even read your watch?
Yeah.
It's kind of fogged up.
Peter Maximo gave me this watch, but it's kind of fogged up, and Andy Wacker gives me a hard time for it because he's like, "How can you see your splits?" Like,
somebody get this kid a watch,
okay? I hit start, and when I finish my run, I hit stop.
They'll do that for you on Friday.
I won't wear this. I'll take this off.
So you won't even have a watch on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like to go off a feel. So. Feel and race the people around me, and I don't know, maybe one day I'll change my mind, but I like to take, like, my favorite part is like right before race when I take my watch off and ditch it, like that's
you feel free.
Like I'm just like, oh, it's gone, it's not there, like I love that. So
so many people these days are wearing GPSs out on the trail and tracking their stuff on Strava. You just go out there. Run for a certain amount of time.
I mean, it's okay. Like, everybody just needs to do what works for them. Like, if you want to use GPS, if you want to map it online, if you want to use Strava, that's fine. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'm not going to knock you for what you do. Like, whatever works. But, like, I like the freedom of not really keeping too much data. Because, like, I overanalyze, and then I go out on a run, and I think, oh, like, I ran this in 55 minutes last week. I gotta run it in 54.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, you're an engineer by training. So.
Yeah, no, like, my coach Dave Worth in college, like, always kind of told us, he's like, we all were like engineers, and he's like, you guys think too stinking much. He's like, you overanalyze everything, and he tried to get that out of us, and I think I never really learned it until I left. And for some people, they need that data. They want that data, and it is helpful, and it can be very helpful. But I've just enjoyed the freedom of not being stuck on it, you know, not going home and overanalyzing it. You know, I kind of train on a do it and forget it policy. Like I do the workout, and then, you know, it's gone. It's like, what did I do? Oh, well, I ran hard on Tuesday. But you
have a general, like, you ran hard on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, like
easy,
I have a general
micromanage.
I have a general idea of what I'm doing, and I might even say, okay, this week I'm gonna do a workout this day of the week. You know what I mean? But I won't. But I don't like record all the numbers, and so I'll say, oh, I'm gonna run for this long, or I'm gonna fart like with a surge at this length, like 6 minutes or something. You know, but I don't. There are a couple routes back in the springs that I do check times on sometimes, but for the most part, just keep it pretty loosey-goosey, and then I carry that into the race.
So you keep things loosey-goosey, but you're also a dichotomy because you have a lot of habits, and
I do.
You love your bananas in races. You get in like late on whatever night it was on Tuesday night. Today's the day I do 70 minutes because it's this many days after the race, and then 2 days before, and then the day after it's 70 minutes. You always run in your Terra Kaigers, so you're planning to race a 100k road run in your
my Kaigers.
Your Kiger trail shoes. They work.
They work. So I'm loosey goosey, but I'm also like, I'm also kind of methodical on certain things, and probably more like when I approach like if I have a goal, I want to hit it. You know, so maybe that goal isn't like a pace, but that goal might be like, I'm going to run for this long today, and then you know, so that's the goal. So if I'm going to say I'm going to run for 70 minutes today, you know, I want to get that 70 minutes in. You know, I don't want to be laying in my bed at night being like, oh, I was supposed to run 70 minutes, I only ran 45. Like, I'm such a slacker. You know, so yeah, like I am methodical about certain things. That, you know, I like to stick to what works, my bananas and my Kaigers and, you know, all that stuff. You know, I guess I just kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So there are certain aspects, but you know, but there are days, you know, when I don't have a race for months and I'm out in the trails and I was supposed to run, you know, maybe 2.5 hours, and I explored a little and ended up out there for 4. You know, sometimes that happens.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. That's, you know, just a little extra running that day.
So you mentioned sort of a little bit about goals. What are you guys' goals for the race tomorrow? Wardian?
I think I want to come home with a gold medal for the team, and I'd like to be in the top 10. So those are my goals. I'd like to be on the podium again. That's always a good feeling to hear the national anthem of your country because of something that you did yourself. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me, and I'd like to have that experience again.
Yeah, I definitely want to try and get that team win, bring home the gold medal. Like to be a scorer on that team, so that's top 3 for U.S. men.
Yeah.
Now the team's very good, so you could have a good day. You could finish in the top 8 and be 4th on the U.S. team. You know what I mean?
Or 6th.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. Ideally, you know, I'd like to be in that scoring group. I'd like to bring them the team title, and I'd like to be in that top 10. Preferably, you know, to be honest, I'd like to be in the upper part of that top 10, but you know, there's a lot of factors. It's a long race, you know, I haven't really done it before, so you know, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, I just want to go as fast and as high as I can. So
I think it'd be sweet if we sweep the podium. I mean, to be honest, I think that's completely within our realm, but I mean, there's obviously some super legit dudes, and they would have to not have the race, and we would all have to have great races, but that would be just epically awesome, I think.
So Zach,
yes.
Do you think about the fact that you're pretty young for this 100k crowd?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not the youngest here. In France, I was the youngest in the international competition. and they kept calling me the kid of the race. Vargo thought they were calling me the king. I told him no, they weren't calling me the king. They were calling me the kid. But there's a little difference. Yeah, there's the Russian guy that's I think like 24, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, so he's actually younger than me. I just turned 26, end of October, so I'm actually 26 now. But yeah, no, I think about that. And this race is different for me because I was at Mountain Championships, and like we take a junior team, so we have all these kids that are like 19 and under, and then like the team itself is pretty like youthful. And I was saying I came here and I'm like, I mean I by no means want to offend anybody, but to some extent I look around and I'm like, I feel like I'm racing my dad. like because the age, and these guys are very, very good, and I hope I'm really good, you know, into my, you know, through my 30s and, you know, on into my 40s as well. But it's just different. Like I'm sitting at like a meeting and I'm like, well, is this person an athlete or somebody's mom? You know? So and there's and that's awesome.
Everybody's
that's
ass.
Awesome because like I got beat by Simon Gutierrez at Pikes Peak this year, and like the guy's like in his 40s, and I'm like, he could be my dad, and he kicked my butt. He got like he got like 12th overall. So like not knocking. It's just it's a testament to the dedication and commitment of those athletes, and it's a testament to the fact that you can have longevity and you can be very good in this type of sport for a very long time. But as the young guy in here, it's kind of a strange spot to be because I'm like, isn't everybody supposed to be like 25?
Yeah, so guy who could be Zach's dad.
That's me.
I mean, do you think about, I mean, you're talking about getting on the podium overall, and that'd be great. Do you think about all separately as like being a Masters runner? Because so many of the great runners here are, like Giorgio and
Steven, and Jonas is a master also. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty rad to see like so many incredible athletes, and even like Megan, like, you know, she's just timeless, and to still be able to compete on a world level and to represent your country, you know, at you know, as you're getting older is just such a privilege, and you know, I think it's a big deal, and you know, it's, I think, cool for people, you know, that I have so many people, and you know, I work as a, you know, a broker professionally, and so many people like, oh, you know, they like say they're too old, or they, you know, have too many responsibilities, and like most of the people here have, you know, full-time gigs where they're doing stuff and taking care of kids, and you know, doing all the stuff that, you know, regular people do, and then you're still able to represent your country and to be a, you know, have a chance to be on the podium and be in the top 10, and you know, help your team, you know, come home with a medal. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things about it is, you know, you can still be competitive in what we do, and you can even, you know, be one of the best people in the world at what you do, you know, as you age, and especially if you stay dedicated to it, and you know, you just have to stay healthy. I mean, that's a responsibility for every athlete, I think, and a challenge for every athlete, especially as, you know, we're doing so many miles or kilometers or however you want to say it. But you know, that's one of the challenges, and I think as you age, you can use some of that experience, you know, to offset maybe some of the, I don't even think you lose anything really. I think you just gain, you know, your base just expands over time, so you just have all that endurance to draw from.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thanks guys, and best of luck.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.